All right, guys, how we doing? Sam here with you. It's January 4th. It's Friday, and we're looking at crypto today. So by request from our members, we look here at Ethereum to the dollar. Now, this is, we looked at this, I want to say Monday of this week. So this is a 30-minute here. Now, you got to be careful here. It's very tempting to look at this and think, oh, okay, 1, 2, off we go. And I've seen a lot of, across crypto, Twitter, a lot of people getting excited about Ethereum because of this movement. It looks like it might be impulsive, and I guess there's a chance we could still get that. But if you just took a snapshot here and looked at this, really, boy, this is a pretty much as it sits here, just a textbook WXY. Now we're still wrestling with this section down here that I went over on, I think it was Monday, where we have this problem trying to resolve down here with 5. So the assumption being that if we've got an ABC coming down, we're looking to finish this in 5. I got clear 5 into my 1. I can make a case for the 2 here, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, we're having to allow for this truncated 5th here, which it makes you pause a little bit. So this is a problem spot here because we don't get clarity on the move down here. We don't get a clean resolution, but from that, now we've moved off of it here. And this problem here is a bit why I lean into this more as a WXY. So the idea being, of course, right, just to review, WXY simply just connecting to ABCs, but the X wave has to be a corrective wave. And per Elliott Wave International's guidelines, which I wrestle with at times because I find this to be less common than more shallow retracements of the W wave. But here is just textbook. They want to see it 90%. I can't script these any better. That is literally now. If we come down here, so there's a possibility here we're doing a little ABC and then we kick one more time. Well, that's going to make this look less probable here because then we can perhaps make a case that we've got an impulse going in here. Right now, I can't make this an impulse. We don't have 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you why. Because this is not long enough. So if we were to even being generous here using the lowest low, and I'm going to take the length of my A wave projected from my B wave, I don't have 100%. So this move, while this may be just an internal correction of that move, right now looks more like we've got our completed ABC into an X wave, and we're just starting a 1, 2. Now this is one of those spots where it's difficult to tell. Now, of course, first thing to notice here, we're starting to break the channel. Now, this could potentially set up some weakness here as we break out of this set of median lines with the failure to make the median line. Now, note here, as per Andrew's trading principle number 4, a failure to make the median line sets up a move equal to or greater than the move that preceded it that failed to get there. So look where that would put us. Kind of interesting. Now, I'm going to pull this off here just to declutter the chart here. And we've got this acknowledged here that this can't be 1, 2, 3, at least as we sit here now. Now, we've already broken this, so now you're thinking, oh, maybe I've got a diagonal. Maybe you'd have a diagonal. But if we were thinking about this as a 1, 2, and we're off into the third, then this would have to be the 1 wave of the third wave here, which I suppose that we still have that possibility here. We still have that. So that this could just be an ABC of the 1 wave of the third wave, but that's going to imply much higher prices, right? So just thinking of the scale here, if we're just in the 1 wave of the third wave, well, that's very bullish. I just don't see that yet. Now, a couple of things to note here, right? So this was just shy of the golden zone, but we're stalling out here. So you can make a case here that all that's happening here is we're running into prior resistance up here, right? We've been here before, 1, 2, bumping. Now we get a lower high. I'm not ready to just jump into a short there, but that should get your attention. Now, additionally, here, as this is. We still have this algo play, right? That's still in effect. Now, just because you have an internal and you come to a golden zone doesn't mean we must go up and get that target. But what it tells us is that we know there's going to be algorithms here that will support this on the way down. So as we start to come down, come here. as we start to come down using this low, we can anticipate some buying pressure likely here, as there'll be an algorithm written to buy that 50, defend at the 618. If it breaks, well, now we're back down to the other 50, right? So it's you don't know who's behind them. All you know is that there is likely to, you're going to find some buying interest here. Now note here, we've got a nice big fat node here, volume node here. So there's lots of market acceptance, and we have some structure here that looks pretty good. Additionally here, now let me get this, hang on a second. Let's get this off of here. And I'm just going to take this off to clear up the chart. So you look here and you think, interesting, right? It looks like that could be technical. So just grabbing here. All right, so what do we see? So here's this swing back to the 50. Well, so that's why I'm drawing it up here. So swing to the 50 to the target. Right? So the anticipation is no reason to assume that that won't continue. So all we're doing here is just dragging this up. Now, that's a little bit based on my experience of working with this. I know that they love the alternating. I've just seen so many of these that this 50 here is preferable, even though this will be in play. This is here. This would be preferable for me here at that 50. So we're taking the 50 of the ABC. So here's that buy zone rather than this right here. Partly I'm influenced by the fact that I suspect this is an X wave, and we're not done with this correction. Now, this certainly we could get a little ABC come down here into somewhere between the 50 and the 618. We've got this little structure here, these prior highs. We could come down here and then bounce up because they're after that target right there. Right, so here's the little mini swing. If we get this, now we've already had a little reaction at the 38. If this is going to come down a little farther, that's, there will be buying interest there. So if I just wick off this section here, these prior highs, you can see that structure may well come into play here. So if you're bullish and you're looking for a buy here, that's a reasonable spot with very low risk. Stop on the other side of the 65. If that comes down, then you've got a potential, this would be a very small loser. If that comes down, then you got a potential buy here. If you just want to play off of the algo swings and don't want to get overly consumed with the question marks about the Elliott count, you certainly have that in play. So this alternating pattern, I know they like that here. So this is the one that I would be looking for. Now, if this breaks and we don't get something like that and we're heading lower, well, you can make a case for that, because if this is a WXY, so all we're looking for now is an ABC. Right? Here's the X, here's our ABC. ABC coming down, ABC going up. So we're looking for an ABC coming down. So it looks like I'm on a 30-minute. If I zoom in here, it looks like you've got a start on either an A wave or a one wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty clean, coming down off of that pivot, which is additionally somewhat bearish. So if we're trying to get a count on it, well, let's see, I would do it this way. So we would have the ingredients here for potentially an A wave, a B wave, and then a C wave still to go in. All right, see what I'm at? So this A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the C here. So we have a potential A, B, and perhaps if this has another leg down, well, you can kind of see it here. I don't know what degree I'm on here, but there's probably some sort. I'll have to check that. 4, 5. Now that's crazy high. Let's get down sub-micro. Okay, so potentially now we're underway here. Now this, if this is gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, that I don't like that as much, because if I pull back out, right, where's that putting us? That would put us right here. So I think that what's more likely here is we're just in the one wave of the C wave. So this, I think there's a reasonable case for this to be coming down lower, which would put us down in this range. So pulling this off here. Looks like potentially now, and this could just be the AB of the A wave. It's just, there's no way to know just yet. All I can see a clear 5 coming down. So if you're still hanging to the idea that this is some sort of 1, 2, 1, 2, well, that's going to get tougher because you've got 5 coming down here. So that right, it's either a 1 or an A. So if you're still hanging on to the idea that it's A, the B is in, we're coming down for a shallow C, and we're going to get something like this, right? A, B, C. Maybe we come into this range here, which is, right, you can see all the volume, a lot of market acceptance here, a little shallow ABC. Well, think about that. If we work from this pivot low, and we get this little ABC, well, now we're back to that 50. But what's that going to do for the count? Right, so again, it becomes problematic because we don't have an impulse here. We've got an ABC. So again, it brings you back to, well, maybe a diagonal. But again, yeah, it's possible. The probability here is that this is not done correcting here, and we've just got a WXY, right? So that said, acknowledging that there'll likely be some buying interest here, and that certainly may kick with this kind of setup as a WXY. Well, of course, we're going to get some median lines on it. So let me get this dialed in here. All right, so you can see why I had this down here. So if we're going to get this play down here, so if we're going to go WXY, well, we're going to look for a couple of things. One, we're going to look for some sort of confluence off of the swing low. All right, so note here, golden zone. And then we're going to look for some relationship between the W, X, and Y. So if I use my alternate projection, get down to proposed W, and then pull this over. All right, so very, very common would be 100%. Well, so you can see here we get this confluence where we've got the 100% of the projecting for the Y wave off of the length of the W projected from the X. This would not be uncommon to do 100%. It would put us right into the golden zone and right at the median lines. So what is this? Right, if it's correctly identified, and that's emphasis on if, and this is the X wave, we need an ABC to get down here. I got a 5. I got a 3. That's all I've got so far. So not quite enough. So you could take the short here with a stop above this pivot. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Very reasonable. We certainly have a corner pocket here. Right? It's a high. Right? You're up there, but you're prime zone for an X wave. So as long as that pivot holds, let's see, this people get confused about it. As long as that pivot holds, 80% probability of making the median line. But it could be, we can make it down here. It doesn't mean that we're going to hit it here. We don't know, right? That's the advantage of working with median lines, is that it's a leading indicator. So if we get past this point, we're not there, well, then we got to work with the angle to see where we might hit it. All right, I'm just here because of that confluence, because of the median line, because of the golden zone, the 100%. All right, so it's a reasonable target. So there's a short here. Right now, people are, because we have the Ethereum fork in the background, people are reluctant to, really, there's kind of a wait and see. But I would just, that's not an unreasonable place to be looking for a short. Right? You've got all the structure, and you've got very low, relatively low risk right there. So if you sold it here, 148, and your stop's at, what do we got there, 157? So you certainly have an opportunity there. Now, what looks... shit, I mean, it could blast off here, but this looks, I'd be less comfortable on the long side, given what I'm looking at here right now, than I would be on the short side. That's just me personally, right? But, you might view this differently. Perhaps you're under the impression that this is 1, 2, 1, 2 just going in. So this is going to, if that's the case, can we make that case? Can you go 1, 2, 1, Maybe you can actually. You might be able to do this as 1, 2. Now you'd have a shallow, just out of curiosity here, if we go to this pivot. All right, so we looked at this one here. So this was technical. So we could go, got that right, 1, 2. Right, so there can be another kick here. So you could get another 1, 2 out of that. So you'd be looking for this if we're working off of this low. If we're going to go 1, 2, then really you'd be looking down here in this range here. So if we got an ABC, and I'm just kind of eyeballing for 100%, if we got an ABC, that might be an area where if you come down here and you get that, then you could go off. So you could have 1, 2, 1, 2. You can't eliminate that possibility that it's 1, 2. This would be shallow. 1, 2 going again. And then this would be just the ABC of the second, right? We know that was technical. That was between the 50 and the 618. So there's a case to be made for a 1, 2, 1, 2. That would be a secondary, an alternate for me. Now I think we're more likely going down one. I mean, shit, again, I'm wrong all the time. So that's how I would approach that. I would be leaning towards the short side. If you get a reaction down here and we break now. So if we come down here and you get a reaction, we come into this golden zone and we break the median lines. That's one bit of a tell. And we start to approach this. Well, now you got to rethink the whole thing. So maybe you do have 1, 2, 1, 2. right? And, listen, I would love to see that. I just don't, call it what you like, experience, having done this for 25 years. But my sense of it is that we're not done yet. We're not done with this correction. Right? I would love to be wrong. Absolutely love to be wrong. But my purpose is not about me being right here. It's providing the technical analysis, showing you the probability zones. I'd like to think you guys draw your own conclusions about whether or not you want to put capital at risk there based on what my input for what that's worth or what you see here. I think we got an X wave, right? But as I said, everybody's wrong more than they're right, right? No, I'm no different than anyone else, right? I can promise you I'm wrong more than I'm right. But, right, it doesn't mean you can't make money, right? That's the secret to it. All right, guys, with that, I will wrap up here on Ethereum. Oh, yeah, this is the last day of our New Year special. So if you're interested in that, you can find out about it on Twitter, write us, or there'll be a link underneath this video. Okay, guys, I'll be back to you with more in a little bit.